Hello and welcome, my dear starseeds and skeptics. My name is Fiona from wearethelightworkers.com.au and Spirit Child Journey. We're here to talk about the full moon, and in particular, how it affects our bodies and how we can use its power for good. Now, this is part of our full moon series, so do make sure that you check back in over the next few months or subscribe so that you see all the other videos in the full moon series coming out as well. So the full moon, now for some of you, you already know that for most of my life I've suppressed my spiritual side. Tried to shove it down there and stick a surface over it and hope it never came out. But the full moon was one of those times when even I had to admit that there was something going on there. I was very highly hypersensitive to all things energy, other people's energy and circumstances, and the full moon brings it up. Now, even the most skeptical people, even people that just really deny all things energetic and connection and spiritual, can't deny the full moon. You talk to anyone who is a nurse or a police officer, in particularly people who work in the emergency department or mental health wards, and they will tell you just how full on and intense the full moon impact can be. Everyone's heard of the full moon crazies, and if you haven't, then you're probably in a little bit more denial than you're ready for the rest of this video. But for those of you who resonate and are just know someone or a time when there was such an effect, you can hear the crazies already driving down the streets here of Melbourne as well. So I'm recording this video on April 29th, 2018. And we are at the day before, so it's 99% full tonight, and we're heading into the Scorpio full moon. So this one's in particular, it's a little bit even more intense than usual. So the full moon effect, so it's been documented in so many cases. Farmers and fishermen have been using the full moon energy for generations, probably forever, probably even before they recognized what was going on and the electromagnetic fields of the earth and the pull of the tides, way back when they believed that it was the gods and the spirits that were doing it for them. They've been planting and fishing according to the energies of the tides. You can even cut your hair according to the full moon cycles. These are all things we'll delve into a lot more deeply as we go throughout the full moon series. It was really interesting when I was researching about the farming. Now, you know, I always heard Nana talking about it's the full moon, it's time to, and I couldn't remember what it was. Apparently, the time between the new moon and the full moon, because all the water is rising up. So what the full moon does is, as it comes closer to the earth, it affects the tides, it affects the water, it draws the water up towards it. So the full moon is the peak of the high tides. It's when we can get those massive king tides and really intensive overflowing of water as it's attracted to the full moon. So in the weeks and days leading up, we begin to feel the effect of the full moon before the night of the full moon. It's really in these days. And this day before is said to be one of the most intense. It's said to be the wettest in the soil. So for planting, it's one of those things, it's time to plant real deep crops because the soil that is really quite damp. All the groundwater has risen up, apparently. It's quite exciting. But then when the full moon happens, that's the time to be pruning and weeding and cutting things back. It's time to be letting things go. They're at their most nourished and ready to let go of all the dead wood and all the excess that's no longer required. So according to farmers, they've been using the moon cycles to do their weeding and their pruning in the days after the full moon, which is why it's really great that we can sort of appreciate and embrace this. In fishing, the best fishing time was leading up to the full moon, and then it just sort of fades away again. Those tides go away as well. So how does this affect us? Well, our bodies are 60% water. So if the moon is having that much of an impact on the groundwater and of the tides, then we can't really, it's kind of delusional to think that it doesn't have an impact on our bodies when our bodies are 60% water. And our brains and our hearts are an average of about 73% water. So it's such a powerful part of our bodies. So much of our bodies is water. And if the moon affects water, it has to affect us. Now, we've already talked about the crazies. For some women, they'll notice that their womanly cycles, it's been called the moon cycle for generations, and we'll delve into that throughout the full moon series as well. And in particular, just as the tide comes up, so what happens when groundwater rises, it brings all the minerals and the salts and everything to the surface as well. Now, if that's rising in our bodies, it stands to reason that it's bringing all our stuff up. So that's our emotions, our repressed emotions, our repressed shit, stuff that we've been trying to shove down there. And as the full moon comes, it starts to come out. So for many people, they're going through a world with like a surface self and a core self and a whole layer of crud in between that they're trying to hide. And imagine it's like pushing it down, like pushing down a beach ball. And if you've been suppressing that for so long, after a while, it's going to come up and stuff is going to come with it. So with the rising of the tides comes the rising of our emotions. Now, my husband's smart. He's gone away for this weekend because so much comes up. And if we don't know how to handle it and work through it, and even if we do, then it can really just be a bit blurty. It can come out on others. In particular, the full moon we're experiencing at the moment in April, this is the Scorpio full moon. And this one really is about letting go. Because the Scorpio energy represents, at its core, represents death and rebirth and a level of unconditional love. Unfortunately, at its surface, the Scorpio energy represents greed and ego. So there's a lot of stuff sitting on the surface that has to be let go for us to be able to embrace that unconditional love within us. So this full moon has brought up a lot of stuff. I've been having conversations with people and it's been getting pretty crazy, as it does with all full moons. Last month was about Libra, I think. So that was bringing up a lot of relationship stuff. So when every full moon, as it moves into the different astrology, the different star signs, is going to bring up and focus on different areas of our life as what it's going to actually bring to the surface. So this one being about death and rebirth and unconditional love, and in particular the material things as well with the greed and the ego, it's a great time to be asking ourselves the questions, what must I let go of in order to experience and express this unconditional love? So what is it that you've been holding on to? It's literally a time of getting all the skeletons out of the closet, cleaning out anything. It's cleaning out all the things that have been suppressed and repressed for so long. I've said this to many of my clients, and I'll be saying it a lot more. This year, 2018, it's a master number. It's an 11 year. It's causing us to not be able to sit on the fence anymore. For so many years we've been able to get away with just repressing things and ignoring it and hoping it'll go away. But this year is really causing a lot of people to make decisions they've been putting off. And the best way to do it is we've got to face the muck. We've got to face the things we are afraid of, the things we've been repressing, the things we've been kind of ignoring and hoping it'll go away. Because it's only once we face them that we can clean them out. We can move beyond them. We can actually decide whether or not they are worth carrying around into our future, or we can let them go. So the full moon energy, it forces a lot of this. Some people go through relationship challenges in a full moon. Some people have, blurt out things at work that they can't come back from. Stuff does come up anyway. So what we can do to make the full moon easier is to appreciate that it is going to, and start to do things on conscious purpose with intention. We can utilize the full moon energy. So some really great ways of utilizing it is respect what the full moon is for. So each full moon has a different energy. This one in particular, but all full moons are bringing stuff up. So use it as a time to literally clean house. Use it as a time to do some deep cleaning, some cleaning out your body, maybe do a cleanse, cleaning out, make sure you're getting lots of water as well, because it's going to bring it up, so just flush it with lots of water. Cleaning the house. So this full moon, the Scorpio full moon, is about cleaning the skeletons out of the closet. For me, I've been literally pulling out boxes and making sure we've just moved. So I've got the most incredible view of the full moon that comes up through my office window, but there were some boxes that still hadn't been cleared out. So this is the time, lots of things. They were doing some beautiful feng shui and energy divination around the house and lots of amazing things there. So that can be a really great physical way of demonstrating or getting ready for that full moon energy. Remember, it's about getting rid of and letting go over the coming days. On the night of the full moon, I love to do a full moon ritual where I write down and burn everything I'm going to let go of. So writing down beliefs, I'll link the article below, but writing down beliefs, fears, doubts, what have you been carrying around? So remember the question, what must I let go of to experience and express unconditional love or divine love? So writing down anything that no longer serves. I've got a beautiful ritual where I light candles and I've got beautiful music, and I sit there in the full moon and I write down what I'm not going to bring through into the new month, and I burn it safely and then let it go. And then at the end of it, I write down what I am, what is my intention, what energy am I going to bring into the new month, what's my focus going to be, and that sits with all my crystals for the month. And the third thing that you can do is recharge crystals. So many, not all, some crystals recharge better in the dark, in the ground, and you can bury them in a full moon. So check out your crystals. It'll be another part of the full moon series. But recharging crystals, so I've got the advantage of having 3 window sills where my crystals are in full view of the full moon. But it doesn't matter if you can be outside or inside, as long as you are going to set the intention, bring them out, dust them off, clean them up, and allow the energy to recharge your crystals on the windowsill or outside if you can, knowing which crystals do what, so do a bit of research into that. And use the full moon energy to really get yourself ready to face the month ahead. Get yourself ready to just respect all the emotions as they come up, face them, embrace them, and recognize you've got to accept it before you can let it go. Okay? So I trust this has been valuable. I trust you're as excited and really, I know you're probably feeling the full moon as much as I am. I hope you've been able to use it for good and been able to avoid those confrontations. When we respect that the full moon is coming, we can do more grounding activities and things that bring us in line with nature and bring us in line with it. We can appreciate the impact it's going to have before we just start blurting out all our stuff. So I trust you've been able to use it valuable, and I really hope this video serves you. So enjoy. I look forward to catching up with you in future videos, and until we speak again, take care of you, take care of others, and take care of the greater good. Bye for now.